The most shocking offseason ADPs right now on FFT and 5. What's going on, everybody? Dave Richard, Jamie Eisenberg. We've been doing mock drafts with our users. That's you, people watching, people listening, and we've compiled an offseason ADP. We're not done by a long shot with those mock drafts, by the way. But Jamie, you've taken a look at the ADP results from these mocks. Which players stand out to you with the most shocking ADP values, good or bad, so far?
I'll start at the wide receiver position. Chris Olave, Michael Pittman, Jaylen Waddle, all going after DJ Moore is ludicrous. Moore is now part of one of the most crowded receiving cores in the league with a rookie quarterback. I would easily take Chris Olave ahead of him. I would definitely take Michael Pittman ahead of him, and I would definitely take Jaylen Waddle ahead of him. I think all three of those guys have a much higher ceiling. So DJ Moore going at 30.5 as the 28th player off the board to me is just absolutely crazy. And by extension of that, getting those other receivers as late as you are, I think is huge value. So to get Jaylen Waddle at 44.4, Michael Pittman at 40.1, I think those guys are incredible value at wide receiver. At running back, there's a lot of crazy ADPs in looking at this. And the situation for a few guys, Aaron Jones going as high as he is, ahead of James Conner, ahead of Jonathan Brooks, ahead of DeAndre Swift. Mostly Brooks and Swift is to me a little crazy. I would also take Najee Harris ahead of Aaron Jones as well. But you also have Raheem Mostert going in there that high as well. He's going right behind Aaron Jones as the 65th player off the board. I think those two older running backs going a little bit too soon. I would prefer Brooks. I would prefer Swift. And I would take Najee Harris over those guys as well.
I wonder if it's a case of fantasy managers remembering what Aaron Jones did in the playoffs last year and overreacting to it. Because I agree with you. I think the ADP is just past round 5. We're talking round 6 for Aaron Jones. And it's not necessarily about the number for the ADP. It's about who's being drafted after them. I agree with you. I think Connor definitely makes more sense. Jonathan Brooks, once he's healthy, man, once there's highlights of him doing things in Carolina's offense, I think he'll jump ahead of Aaron Jones, no problem. But Aaron Jones, older running back in an offense that's not Green Bay. It's an offense that will throw a lot, even with JJ McCarthy when he's under center. I could see that one being a big mistake. And the only receiver that I might push back on with you with DJ Moore is Jaylen Waddle, because I think it's a crowded group in Miami as it is. And we saw Waddle struggle last year. Can you give me maybe 30 seconds on why you're overly optimistic on Waddle?
Oh, I mean, you look at the snap counts that he played last year. He left so many games with injuries and didn't play the full allotment of snaps that he normally gets. And yes, it is a crowded receiving core if you're counting on Odell Beckham at his age to continue to be productive, which he wasn't very much last year. Malik Washington's going to be a rookie. Maybe Jonnu Smith is a tight end upgrade over what they had last year, which was really non-existent. But that's not necessarily been a staple for Mike McDaniel during his time in Miami. Certainly, it's been a part of this offense, coming from San Francisco, but we just haven't seen it from the Dolphins. Waddle 2 years ago was absolutely amazing. And really, the thing that sort of puts me over the top for Jaylen Waddle is we saw Tyreek Hill leave a game last year. It was against leave a game and miss the following game. The game that he missed was against the Jets. Jaylen Waddle, despite facing that secondary, was an absolute superstar. So I think he gets back to what he was doing 2 years ago. Dolphins just paid him for a reason. I think they're going to make him or continue to use him as a vital part of this offense. And so to me, Jaylen Waddle is significantly better and safer than DJ Moore this year, who did have his big season last year in Chicago with a different quarterback without a significant amount of competition for targets. I would gladly take Jaylen Waddle over DJ Moore, and probably by 2 rounds.
And I think DJ Moore can still have a good target share. Certainly not necessarily what he had last year, but I think he got an upgrade in quarterback. I think Caleb Williams will be better for him. But yes, more mouths to feed in that offense, more sharing for DJ Moore. I love his game, and I think the opportunities won't be too far down from where he was last year. Let me drop a quarterback ADP on you and get your reaction to this. Patrick Mahomes is going 40th overall. I don't know if that's necessarily something that you'll say, wow, that's crazy, but he's the 3rd quarterback off the board. We're still seeing Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts going ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Do you agree with that, or do you think Mahomes should be the first guy off?
I mean, Mahomes is my first quarterback, but we're, I think, in the minority there in terms of how we're viewing Mahomes by comparison to Jalen Hurts and to Josh Allen. And look, our ADP is going to factor in 6 points for passing touchdowns. Most sites that you'll see are factoring in 4 points for passing touchdowns. So the rushing upside of what Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen have certainly should help those guys outperform Mahomes, unless he has another 5,050 touchdown season, which I don't think is realistic. But what those guys do as rushers certainly is much more attractive than what Mahomes brings to the table, even with Josh Allen having a stripped down receiving core. So I get it why those guys are going ahead of him. For me, I think Mahomes in 6 point passing touchdown leagues has more of a higher ceiling, especially with the upgrade at receiving core. And hopefully Rashi Rice doesn't have a significant suspension to ruin what could be the best complete receiving core that Mahomes may ever have in his career.
I agree with you on that. And I said this on Tuesday's show. All the other top tier quarterbacks had something negatively happen this offseason. Not necessarily like, something that's going to completely crush them, but Saquon Barkley out in Philadelphia, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis out of Buffalo, replaced with only one rookie, and then Curtis Samuel in Buffalo. Lamar Jackson gets Derrick Henry there. Patrick Mahomes got additions that help his numbers. And that's why he's number one for me. I would love to get him as QB3 off the board. We will be back with main shows of Fantasy Football Today and FFT and 5 episodes on Thursday. We'll talk to you then.